Okay, on again. Hello. This is Einar Sørby from Unity Center in Oslo. Today we have a very special guest here. It's Nestor Kornblum from Spain. He is here every year around November having workshops and demonstrations. And he is a kind of expert with sounds, vibration, and works with healing with sounds, and uses his voice, Overtone. And later on we're going to have an experiment with how vibrations make different kinds of what do you call them?
Patterns or
Patterns.
shapes.
Yeah, that's going to be a great experience. So a few minutes we're going to have this experience. But now first, Nestor, I want you to tell me a little bit. I've heard about that vibrations, sounds are important for the body, but can you tell me a little bit about it? How does it really work?
Okay. Firstly, we need to realize that we live in a universe that's made of sound and vibration. Every piece of matter is vibrating all the time, from the atom, which is your basic building block of creation, to the human body, to animals, to plants and trees. Everything is vibrating. And so vibration will naturally have an impact and an effect on anything that it touches. When we create vibrations, whether it's with the human voice or with a musical instrument or with a hammer drill, it's going to be sending out sound waves in all directions from the source, and these will interact with everything that they come into contact with. So if you can picture throwing a stone into a body of water, into a lake, you know that you will see the ripples and the waves spreading out on the water. And it's a very famous image. Many people use it on their websites, to transmit the idea of peace and tranquility. So once we acknowledge that we are beings that are actually made of vibration, then we realize that the quickest way to effect any kind of change or transformation in matter is through vibration. Everything that vibrates, of course, will also have a sound. In the case of atoms, where you have the nucleus of the atom and the electrons spinning around very, very fast, almost at light speeds, this is a very high frequency, millions of cycles in 1 second. So we can't hear that because the human hearing range is only between 20 beats or cycles per second up to 20,000. And of course 20,000 is only when we are born as young children, and as we get older we start to lose the top end a little bit. So by the time we are in our 70s or 80s, most human beings cannot hear more than 10 or 12,000 hertz or cycles per second. And really the work that we do with the healing power of sound, it's not only about music. Music is only one part of everything that vibrates. So on the stage over there I have tuning forks, I have singing bowls, there are many other tools that we can use in sound healing, which are different methods of transmitting sound into the human body. Of course, it makes sense that if we have a certain vibration when we are in good health and when we are happy, then that vibration will change when we become sick or ill, or when we have a disease, or when we have some stuck energy in our energy field, because our energy field is also part of us. That's another thing that people need to learn to accept, that we have something called a light body or an aura or an electromagnetic field or a subtle body. There's many different names for this etheric body that surrounds us, but it's just as much part of us as the physical body. So if we're carrying around stuff, whether it's from our emotional programming, conditioning from our parents or teachers or society as a whole, or from the church or the synagogue.
Is that vibration also?
Everything is vibration. It's vibration. In fact, ideas have their own vibration and their own energy field. And every word that comes out of our mouths also has its own vibration and its own little energy field. And as you send that sound out there, you need to be very careful about what you say and what you express, because no sound is ever completely lost. It keeps spreading outwards like those ripples from the stone in the lake. It keeps spreading outwards right until it reaches the edge of Earth's atmosphere, and then, well, we're not quite sure what happens in outer space. But we do know they've recently discovered yet another particle in the particle accelerator in Switzerland, which up until now was just theoretical, called the boson of Higgs. And this proves that even so-called empty space, or the vacuum,
the dark matter.
Well, dark matter is another thing, but just the emptiness of space is not empty. It's full of these bosons of Higgs, which join everything together. And so, even in empty space, things like radio waves can travel. Anyway, that aside, we can use sound to create changes and to return the body and the energy fields and the energy centers or chakras back to a healthy vibration.
Then you have to have something that makes the right vibration then.
Yes, and we enter the very, very huge area of what's right. How do you know what's right? And there are as many different books and systems as there are sound therapists. So once you enter the world of reading books, then this one says that, and this guy says that, and another woman says these are the right sounds. And so you can easily become confused and lost. What my wife and I teach in our Association of Sound Therapy is we assist each and every person who comes to a workshop to create their own personal relationship with sound.
Oh, smart.
And to develop their own way of working with it. The last thing we want are clones of the Nestor Kornblum, Michêle Averard system of sound healing. We don't want followers, and we don't want 1,000 people out there all, I can't do this because, Nestor said you can't do that, or Michele said this wasn't good. So what we want is people to work, actually, the fundamentals of what we teach is actually energy work. We teach people how to work with energy, how to open up to their intuition, so that they can begin to feel what's right. So that they can, when they're treating somebody else, that they can receive the information from that person as to what that person needs. And while at the very beginning of our training course, people may not believe that they can do this, within a very short time, people start to receive accurate information. One of the ways we do this is using the name. A person's name is vitally important.
Now, why is that important?
Well, because it captures, in a way, it's your essence energy. Attached to your name, like if you're walking down the street, for example, and someone goes, "Hey, sexy," well, you're going to carry on walking. Well, if you're a guy, you might turn around hoping that it's you. If you're a woman, you will very pointedly ignore it, and then maybe a couple of seconds later, women have this incredible talent where they can look at you without you knowing. But anyway, the thing is, nobody will turn round. But if you go, Einar or Michele, then it's almost as if someone's exercising a pull on your energy. Your name is completely, inextricably linked to your energy.
Can you explain why everybody gets their spiritual names? They change the name to a spiritual name.
Well, actually, this is what we were discussing in the workshop yesterday evening. Most names, at least in the Western world, our names are not clean. Clean in the sense of being something given with total unconditional love, without any kind of conditions or charge. Very often we are named because we felt obliged to name a child after a grandparent or or an ancestor, or to keep the family name going. In Spain, for example, during the times of the Franco's dictatorship, which was supported by the Catholic Church, everybody had to be named after a saint or a biblical name. And this creates the situation where you have hundreds and thousands of Maria Jose or Maria Jesus, Mary Jesus.
Yeah.
Or, in the case of men, Jesus Maria, Jesus Mary. And this goes right throughout Spanish society, but also right throughout the Catholic world. And in Judaism, I'm from a Jewish descent, we have a similar issue. This pressure from the past.
Yes.
So we need to work on our names, and we need to clean them, and feel comfortable with them before we run off to India and come back as Ananda Panda Banda or whatever, because very often it's like sweeping the dust under the carpet. You're not actually doing the work. You're just saying, okay, I start a new chapter as this. You know? Now, a few years ago, I was given a Swami name by an American Swami, actually, a very well-known man in the world of meditation, and he gave me the honor of this name, Swami Nad Sundaram. Now, Sundaram meaning beautiful, beauty in Hindi, and Nad or Nada meaning the universal vibration that the Indians, the Hindus have known for thousands of years, that everything vibrates. And so this Nad or Nada is the universal vibration of creation. I was very honored, but it didn't feel right to me. I'm Nestor, that's my name, I like my name, I feel comfortable with it, even though, of course, it created huge problems at school, where I was, Nestor Kornblum, I was Nestle Cornflakes,
Yeah.
and very often I was made to feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I'm proud of my name, I like it. This is not true of many people, and so they're only too happy to leave that name behind and take on a new one, which gives them the chance of presenting themselves as somebody new, as a new person. But still, we encourage people in our workshops to work on their original name that their parents gave them.
Yeah.
And in the sound healing treatments, we ask the client many times for the name, because on the vibration of the name, once you have done and practiced this energy work that we teach, you can receive sometimes a very clear image of what's needed, what instrument is needed, or what vocal sounds are needed, and then you direct the sounds towards the client, and their inner intuition knows which vibrations to take in order to return to balance.
Okay.
So it's not a perfect science yet by any means. In certain areas, yes. For example, they know that neurobiologists are using the frequency of 528 Hertz to repair DNA. So now I have a tuning fork of 528 Hertz, and we can call this the DNA repair tuning fork. Okay? Because you can actually create a tuning fork of any frequency you like. You just have to send the frequencies to the factory.
But these singing bowls, they say that they have different singing bowls for different chakras. Does that help?
What each sound therapist can do is they can generally choose singing bowls that, for them, resonate in that area. But there's no guarantee that that will be the same for each client. So the best thing is, yes, buy your singing bowls for you, and if you like, you can say, yes, this is my first chakra bowl, or this is my pelvic bowl, and this is my heart or chest bowl, and you can do that.
Does it help?
Yes, it does, because of course intention is at least 50% of any healing modality.
But you mean maybe your own sound is the best healing then?
Yes.
For your own body?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Your own voice is the most powerful healing tool in existence.
But what do you do then? Do you just try to vibrate the sound you feel well with, or?
Yes. First we do exercises where everybody gets the same sound, because it's necessary to start somewhere so that everybody in the group is on the same page, basically. So there are systems for intoning the chakras with your voice with specific vowel sounds, and if you sing the vowel, you can actually feel them resonating in specific areas of the body, especially if you work on your sensitivity. which we encourage, because the number one rule of sound healing is less is more. And we grow up in a society where we're taught that more is better, more is more. But it's not true. Okay. You can do a very, very powerful healing with just voice, or just one singing bowl, or one tuning fork. It's not about the quantity. It's about how you direct your intention and how you manage the energy, the subtle energy.
We're going to now try to look at the demonstration about vibrations and patterns. And what we'll see here is that the patterns, they have different shapes on different vibrations, and some vibration, it's no patterns.
Well, this experiment was invented by German scientist Ernst Chladni in the late 1700s and became a very famous party trick in the court of Emperor Napoleon, where he used to walk around demonstrating this principle. And this was later called Cymatics by the Swiss scientist Hans Jenny in the 1960s, who, and if you look up Cymatics on the internet, you will find many, many more of these lovely images. So I'm going to demonstrate this. I didn't have the right kind of sand, but bicarbonate of soda works just as well. And so I'm sprinkling the powder on the metal plate. This particular one is stainless steel. But of course you can use copper, is a much easier metal to get vibrating. So I'm hoping that this is going to work easily and without any problems. So we sprinkle that on the plate to tighten up the violin bow without breaking it. And then I will begin to vibrate the plate in different places. We can see that the powder starts to move into geometric patterns. The more I play it, then it gets rid of the excess powder, leaving just the purity of the shape beneath. But you can see how incredibly, perfectly straight lines form. And then if we look for other divisions of the plate,
wow. Fantastic.
You can get some really amazing patterns.
Make a flare of light?
I wish I could. I'm not quite sure. It's never actually come up. But there you can see that beautiful mandala that has formed. I can try and get another.
Are these patterns also in the body and flowers and trees and everything?
Yeah, you'll find that these patterns will reproduce and will be found in different structures in nature. You can try for another pattern or two. No, that one.
These vibration patterns, Are they some of the same structures and how they work as this guy that was freezing ice patterns?
It's not exactly the same as what Masaru Emoto was doing, because he's working with water and with many different molecules of water. So obviously water, because it has a crystalline structure, it can be programmed and it holds memory. Crystals are the basis of the whole computer memory, and crystals are the basis of, you know, all digital alarm clocks, computers, etc., how they keep time. And so you can program crystals. Emoto's very first experiments only included the vibration of a thought, just putting a label like love on a glass of water and then freezing that, and the molecules arrange themselves into beautiful snowflake patterns, and where the thought or the intention was harmonious, the pattern was harmonious. But with sound it's different, because with sound it's far more related to the mathematics of vibration, mathematics of which, and it's the same mathematics of creation. And so the shapes that you get on using this, what's called the Cymatics experiment, actually reflect shapes that exist in nature, because, as I said earlier, everything that is part of creation, all matter, vibrates. And so it's not by mistake that certain frequencies will reproduce exactly the same shapes that are in the molecular structure of plants and human beings and whatever. However, we will see, using the metal plate,
We have seen it already. We are clear.
Okay. Okay. So, well, you can see from the patterns on the metal plate that it's actually the mathematical division of the length of the plate. So when the violin bow divides the plate into one segment and another larger segment, or into two exactly equal parts, the pattern will reflect that. And when you find an in-between division that's not harmonic, that's not harmonious, then you have just chaos. You have vibration, but it's chaos. So in a way you get higher levels of order.
Is that your higher tones, your higher level of order?
Not necessarily, but it's just, that's how the universe is. We are moving from chaos towards order, but of course if we have only order, then there's no movement, there's no evolution. I'm talking about on the level of society as well, and evolution, of human evolution. And what happens on that little metal plate is a reflection of what happens also in life and in the world.
I was thinking about this. Somebody is saying that the vibration of the world is at 7.8 megahertz, and this is rising up.
Yes.
And are we in the chaos period now? Are we coming up to a period with more fantastic patterns?
I believe so. You know, everybody is now, we're at the point where we're just reaching the 21st of the 12th, 2012, this famous date in the Mayan calendar, which has run, the last cycle has taken 26,000 years to complete. And yes, we have seen in the last few weeks and months incredible chaos in weather patterns, earthquakes, natural disasters, uprisings, the Arab Spring, and all sorts of other things. So yes.
That's chaos?
Yes, I would say that that's chaos. That's the chaos. And I believe that after the 21st of December, we will enter the new phase, which will be an opportunity, not necessarily guaranteed, but it will be an opportunity to establish a new and higher order in human society, in structures, in relationships.
Very interesting.
And in all levels.
Yes.
And that it's the beginning of a new age rather than the apocalypse, and destruction at the end of the last age.
This is the last part of the interview. I always ask you, now you have an opportunity to tell the world something you want to,
your main mission,
what do you want to tell the world?
I'd like everybody to know that you have a voice and that your voice is the most powerful healing tool that you have at your disposal. So please bring your sound out, work on your voice, even if it's only in the privacy of your own bathroom at home. Learn to love yourself through your voice, sing your name, and don't be afraid to express what you truly have inside.
Well, that was very interesting. Thank you very much, Nestor. Looking forward to see you next year. You coming here then?
I hope so, yeah.
So now when we interview you, you're going to be famous.
Hopefully I'll be back with Michele next year.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, because she was a bit like, why didn't you bring me this year?
Yeah, of course.
And I said, well, because it's
2013 next year.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Tack ska du ha.
Nestor, now I would like to hear you demonstrate overtone singing.
Okay. Well, overtone singing is about bringing out, amplifying the pure frequencies of the voice so that they can be heard as a second tone, a completely separate tone above the voice. This also has its own particular mathematical relationships discovered by Pythagoras 2,600 years ago. However, I am now teaching overtone singing. I'm teaching here at Unity Center and all over the world how to bring these beautiful pure frequencies out of the voice. So that's your basic overtone scale, which changes, of course, according to the note that you are singing.
Thank you. That was great.